And hello and welcome to today's art stream. I always forget to turn the mic on right when I start. Let's just drop stuff on the floor. Hello, let's start that again. Today, as you can see, I'm working on a new character here. They are a halfling or a gnome artificer, and they've got this cool steel defender fox companion down there that I'll be working on eventually. Possibly not today, we'll see. As you can see at the moment, I am working on the skin portion of the character, so that's kind of what I'm going through at the moment. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of go from there and just carry on and probably see if we can do the cool goggles and the hair and stuff today and just see how far we get. So, hey, Cyber Spectre, welcome to the stream. Always lovely to have you in chat. Okay, so let me just pull up my ref images so I can carry on with this. Ah! Coming on the wrong screens. Okay. Alright, cool. So let's get on with this. As you can see at the moment, the latest thing I've started is the lips, so they're very much not done yet. So we'll just kind of get on with shading those. I might change a few bits as we go along, I always do. So gently add some of that top colour to the lower lip. Thank you so much, Cyber Spectre, for the subscription. Honestly means the world. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's been very busy. I've got over my kind of coldiness now, which is good. But yes, hope everyone's kind of staying warm and safe and looking after themselves. It's a weird time. Just add a bit to that bottom lip there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go, I haven't named this yet, it's our good old overlines layer. Overliners is now what it's called, alright. And we're going to use this to remove the line art line down there. Because we no longer need it, and it just is a bit too heavy. So I'm just kind of studying the ref like that. Alright, let's add a bit more dark to the upper lips, shall we? And thank you so much to Luthient for following. Hey! Thank you so much. Yeah, I know I don't always stream at the best times, depending on where people are based. So, very pleased you managed to kind of join me, so thank you very much. So what we can also do is just lighten up some bits of the top lip so it matches in with the bottom a bit more. Again, lots of kind of blending and working this into the base colours. Always wondered why your handle was Talonier. Okay, yeah, so I don't actually ask this very often. My handle is Talonier because originally it came years ago. I've had this handle since I was in my teens and had DeviantArt and everything. Which is totally not a clue to everyone who was trying to find my old DA page. But so, Talonier originally derived from the word Talon, which was a very old surname my family had. And the reason I thought it was cool is because a Talonier was a term that often referred to people who were skilled swordsmen using a saber or rapier. And I thought that was really badass. So that just kind of became my handle in the end. And that's basically all there is to that. Just get a little bit more light up in this part of the lips, and then quite happy with those. It's a fun one. Alright, there's some lips. We'll keep it at that for now. Oh, my phone's being loud. I'm gonna put that to one side. Okay, so what I kind of want to do now is I do want to merge this layer down, so let's do that. And then just do a wee bit of tidying around these corners. Just to get the shadows falling in the right places, you know? Hey Lezef, welcome to today's stream. Always lovely to have you here. Hope you've had a good week so far. Right, so something I'm not awfully fond of is there's a bit too much light down on this left, it's making the face look a little bit chubby. So I'm just going to minimize that a bit. There we go, that's better. Also, I'm going to increase the light there. Yeah, that's better. Much happy with that. And then what I am going to do, and I might need to mess this on the overlines there as well, is I'm actually going to make the skin tone a little bit brighter, a little bit more saturated. Actually, let's not do it that way. Let's instead go to color balance. And this way we can actually twiddle with it a bit. So you can fiddle with it quite a lot from here. But again, I'm still not totally happy with that. Vibrance. Is that the way to go here? Woof, not quite like that. But yes, I think that's a bit more subtle. It's a better approach there. Okay. Lots of artificers lately, definitely. All the goggles. Alright, so with the lips done, like so, we can now do the eyes. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to unsurprisingly call it eyes. And we're going to paint in the base tone. As you can see, I've already kind of prepared some colours up here. So, let's go down to a smaller brush. I think in this case, I'll work on the details around the eyes after I've painted them in. Oh, Gabe, thank you so much for joining, and thank you. It's very, very kind. Alright, so with the base eye layer kind of marked in, I'm just going to touch up a little bit more there. I'm going to hit this little marker up there to lock the alpha channel, and then we can start lightening the whites of the eyes. To everyone who does not know, and I'm sure most of you do, Gabe is an amazing tabletop RPG writer and creator, and all-around amazing person, so go follow them and stuff. They're amazing. Alright, so just gently building up the light with a nice fat brush. Like so. And we have the eye whites. I'm just going to I'm just going to go check my original instruction to just check what colour the eyes are. And drop my pen on the floor again. Alright, I think this guy's got brown eyes. So that's what we'll do. We're going to start with a really nice dark tone and go from there. What we're going to do is make a new layer, clip it to the layer below, and then just go in with a fairly large brush, not quite that big, and just pop in the iris. Oh, thank you so much for the sub gift, Les F. That's you're always so kind. Thank you so much. It really does make a huge difference to me. It means a lot. Alright, Asmize. The face is starting to look a bit younger now. It was looking a bit too old for the character earlier. Right, so what I'm now going to do, going back to the layer beneath, this will now just allow me to add a bit more shadow in areas where it should be shadowed. Like so. And then going up through... Lezef is on fire again. Thank you so much. Wonderful sub-gifts. And do remember, if you are subbed to the channel, you can access the Discord. If I remember how to put links in chat, there we go. Yeah. You should be able to, yeah, hop on Discord and chat. There's lots of kind of art discussion and Photoshop's frozen, so let's just save now before I lose everything. As is wont to happen. Okay, now that's done, we can actually start doing the irises. So, cute little brown eyes. First things first, we're going to get an almost black tone. Making sure that alpha's locked. And add not only a slight green at the top, but adding in the pupil also, just there to kind of give a hint of it. Yeah. And next up, we are going to start cycling up to add this nice kind of ambery brown colour into the eyes. So, going up to my overlines layer, which when I think about it, the overlines layer before I do this does need to have its saturation hoiked up, vibrance hoiked up I should say. Just so it matches what I was doing on the skin earlier. Oh, thank you so much, Michael Howards. That's very kind. Alright, so now with a fairly sized brush, we're just going to add the lighter parts of the brown eyes in like so. And we can kind of do it so we have a bit of colour differentiation across the different sides of the eye. Like this, just keeping the pressure incredibly light on the pen. And then we can go back in, make sure there's nice, we haven't lost a nice circular pupil there as well. And once that's done, pop back in there, grab a nice ambery brown, and a nice small brush. Probably, you know, probably a 4 is what's gonna suit us best. Add a brighter ring around the very center where the pupil is. And then the little kind of bits of texture coming out. And what I've also started doing is just kind of going over from line art, adding that bit of texture coming in as well. Just giving the eye a little bit more character. Like so, and now it is time for, sadly they're not in chat, but some people's favourite layer, the Shinies layer. Which means we can add a nice bit of glint onto these eyes, make them really pop. Like so. And with that done, we can now start to just add some more details to the eyes themselves around and about. So, I'm actually going to take from there, I think. To start with, this character, the commissioner was telling me, has just currently stuck in Avernus. I think they're doing Descent into Avernus campaign, which is hilarious. So they're now a little bit more rough and ready. And understandably tired, so their eyes are going to have some dark around them. You know. And you've been delving in the hells. And the dark kind of helps accentuate the shape of the eyes as well, so. What we can do is we can add some points of bright light in a few places, such as in here. Alright, we have some eyes, so let's save again before we lose everything we've done. And the next thing I want to do is the eyebrows. So we're going to use on I usually use on the skin layer. This character has kind of blonde hair, but usually blonde hair means your eyebrows start brown and then we'll have some flecks of blonde in there. Whoops. This brown isn't quite warm enough, let's just turn it up a bit. Oh wow, that's badass. Artificer with a real gun would be slightly terrifying. Alright, eyebrows almost done. Just gonna add one more layer of dark. Alright, we have some brows. Oh, actually, maybe just a tiny bit of light on that top bit there. Awesome, let's save again, because we cannot save enough around here. Okay, so next I think I'm going to tackle the rest of the skin. So it's going to be goggles and the arms and... Oh, actually! Let's do the ears and the neck, and then I might do the beard, actually. Get that out of the way. You can see how decisive I am on what part I'm painting. So I'm going to turn the screen back to Twitter, because the bright white is really kind of starting to perks. Photoshop having a bit of lag there. And then what we can do is add some light. Here and there. Alright, that's ears. Let's do the neck. Wrap up for this one. There we go. The nice thing about having the beard there is it can go quite rough with the neck paint and not worry about spoiling the skin above. Ah, classic. Looks like some spam in chat. Hey, Uncle Phoenix. Welcome to stream. Working on this Halfling Artificer at the moment. just going to, as usual, just keep blending until the graduation between the tones is nice and smooth. Awesome, so let's get the beard in now, I think. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to make a layer above the skin, clip it, and just call it beard for now. And we're going to start with this colour we've already identified up here. Maybe a little darker, there we go. Oh, I think I'll have a drink. Right, now we're just going to block in the shape of the beard. I'm going to do the main body of this blocking just with my usual brush. And then towards the end, we're going to switch to my favourite hairbrush. Like so. Just to get that nicely added in. And now that's in there, we can start shading it a bit. So, making sure it's alpha channel, it's locked. We can go in with our darker colours. It's a bit of a Mr. Tumnus beard, this one. And just use this to add the texture that we want. And then we can start lightening up a bit. I might even go up to the overlines layer to do a bit of this, just to integrate the beard in with the skin a little bit more naturally. That's going in quite nicely. Just lighten these top bits up a bit. Alright, and we have a little goatee beard. Nice. So with that done, I think what I will do next is go down the arms and get them shaded. So I'm going to keep the beard separate for now, but we're going to go back to the skin layer. And what I'm going to do is firstly, let's tidy this up. That needs to be a bit rounder there. And yeah, once that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to darken the base skin tone because it's easier to go lighter than it is to go darker, at least it is for me. Yes, I'm glad to be working through my list, so I should be with you very soon, Lazarf. And when I am, I'll send you an email straight away, or a picture. I can't remember which way it is that we're doing comms right now. Yes, I'm so excited for Tasha's. I asked for it for Christmas, so I can't use it. I would have it available for some time, but when I do, you bet I'll be integrating a lot of the new stuff into my campaign. Alright, this is a muscular artificer. All the artificers I paint seem to end up quite hench. Alright, just gonna carry on, do the hand. Alright, so that's kind of our first level of shading. So now we're going to blend what we've just done. And again, it's just a similar technique of eyedropping between the two states of colour and then just moving between to smooth it all out. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is going to add some darker shadows in there. Oh, I love the new monk subclasses so much. I'm very excited to give them a go. And a wee bit more shadow there. And then once again, back to the blend. It is a fox. It's a steel defender, which I believe is something the artificers can have. And in this case, this particular character has a little fox, which is really cute, and I love foxes. Oh, thank you so much, Damien S. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the stream. Today I'm working on a Halfling Artificer character, which has been a lot of fun so far. Just doing finishing off the skin rendering at the moment. Nearly got this right arm all done. Ooh, when Photoshop decides to work with me. So much metal to paint. Alright, so with that arm, that stage of that arm is done, let's move over to the other one. It'll do for the upper shoulder. Oh, the fire ganassi. Yes. I've got a couple of fire ganassis actually. I try not to speak too fast. I know I have a bit of a habit of that sometimes. But let me know if you you would prefer me to speak slower. I'm more than happy to. Alright, so I'm gonna add some shadow just that's being created by this kind of scale armor coming in there. I loved Ganassi so much. They're definitely one of my favourite playable races in 5e. Alright, I think that's that for that level. Let's save quickly. And now we're going to add a bit more light. So, going up. The shoulders especially. Alright, so often knuckles catch quite a bit of light, so I'm going to pick them out. Alright, same on this hand actually as well. It's just a bit of light there. And then let's save again. Oh, blue flames, fantastic. Alright, so do you want to take a bit of light? I think we just want to add a tiny bit more light on this shoulder. This is the one that's going to be catching the most light after all, so. And then just blending that back in. And then something I do want to do is I want to go to the line art. Nope, that's not line art. Line art is here. Can I see that? Oh, also this layer can go. We don't need that anymore. Go to the line art layer. Make sure it's alpha locked. And we're actually going to colour in some of this line art. As you can see, we don't need it quite so... Whoop, Photoshop, come on. We don't need it quite so heavy. So we're going to colour it lighter. Just some places where it's kind of on the outside, like so. And then I might go just pop into the overlines layer. Just gonna grab a color from there, just for a tiny bit of side light. That's coming in. It's going to affect this side. Like so, and then a little bit on this side as well. Okay. And to be honest, I do want to just blend a tiny bit more just around here where these highlights come in. And same down here. we go. Alright, so now I'm happy with that. It's time to move on to the next thing. So what we're going to go for next is, I think I'm going to shoot for these goggles next. So we'll make a new layer underneath the skin. I'm going to name it goggles. Yep. And we're just going to make a start on that. Oh my goodness, a puppy on December 23rd? That's wild. Oh, I'm jealous. Alright, so for this I'm actually going to start off the headband for the goggles almost black. It's going to be really dark. Because then we get a nice contrast with the lighter shades of the hair and the face, since this chap is blonde. Okay. So, with that layer down, what we can start doing is we can make layers clipped to that, which can add colour to the rest. So, we're going to have a dark kind of leather colour for the sides. Like so. And finally, the actual metallic elements themselves. I'm going to start with the brown. Actually, this brown's way too dark. Let's start a bit brighter than that, shall we? Going all the way around that edge, and I'm also going to make this part down here is going to be metallic too. And then we've also got this little bit up here, which are these little lenses that can flip down, so they're also going to be metallic. So I'm just going to fill those in while I'm here also. Okay, so with all of that done, we can start to shade. So what I'm going to do is make a new layer. Still clipped, but this time it's going to be set to multiply, and we're going to fill the whole area in with a sort of light, whoop, that's a bit too dark, a sort of light pinkish magenta, which will shade the whole lot for us. So the brush I'm using is literally just the one of the default Photoshop brushes. It's the fourth one down, and in the brush settings the only thing I've changed is I have transfer turned on. Which gives you that nice creamy opacity that you can fiddle with. Cool, so what I'm now going to do is make sure my brush is on our white, and we're just going to remove shadows in areas where we'd be getting light. And actually, I'm going to take shadows off the whole of the metallics because I shade those slightly differently. Why not a screen on that layer? Mostly just because using multiply is just kind of the process I'm used to and what I've just made part of my technique, I suppose. I find it's a nice soft way to introduce shadows and highlights. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to pop back up to the overlines layer and we're going to start getting the metallic elements that we want in place. So, getting our brighter orange, we're going to start with the next level up. And in doing this, we can actually straighten out some of the lines a bit, because we've got a bit of a donut going on up here, which isn't quite how I wanted. And then we're going to have to go down to a really small brush for these bits. And now we can go up through the spectrum to the next lighter shade that we're going to use. Go back to I think 7 will do us. Oh, I do 2 streams like this per week. I do them Wednesdays, obviously today, and Fridays. Usually the same time, so that's 5 p.m. GMT, which I believe is 6 p.m. for you, Damien S. I think. I don't know my time zones very well, so... Alright, so some parts of this need toning down a bit. Like over here, this line through here is too thick. So we're just going to do that to bring it down a bit. And I'm already happy with that. So the next step is I'm actually going to jump up quite far to get a really bright colour. And we're going to go up to a 7 again. And this is where we really start to get the nice metallic looking effect. Oh, thank you so much, Kenrikyo, for the sub gift. It's very, very kind. Remember that all subs can access the Discord, which I linked further up, and I'm more than happy to supply another link for if people would like. So next thing I'm going to do is back on overlines. I'm actually going to add some more highlights to the leather strap. So going up through they are. We're going to go back up to a 6. Sounds about right for what I want. Kind of a bit like edge highlighting and mini painting. Anyone who does like Warhammer or Star Wars Legion. Like so. And then, oh, we were also going to add the metallic elements to this piece, weren't we? Let's just quickly do that. Like so. Alright, so then the next thing we need to do is we need to add in the actual lenses themselves. Which I'm going to do like a kind of a red tint for now, and then I'll probably change that as we go along. Oh, thank you so much. Whoops, hang on, Photoshop's lagging behind me a bit. I'm going too fast. And then we can mess around with different layer settings for this. I am actually quite liking color dodge there. So I don't want it to be too bright. So I might do that there. And I've just noticed, let me just cut that up to current. That went over a bit. Oh, which layer is that on? On that layer? Yes, it is. And then, just gonna have a bit of sheen coming in from the right. I'm actually going to call this lenses, so I know what I'm doing. And then that's when we can add in some proper bright light. We're in the hells after all. And I've got the film noir music playing. Okay. That's very odd. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to do this on its own layer, separate from the others. Just kind of bring it back to roughly where the lens's layer is. And then we can fiddle with the settings. Like that. Oops, that's not the layer I wanted to mess with. Maybe we just make it lighter. Maybe that's the answer I've been searching for all along. Maybe this should be in the shiny layer, now I think about it. Alright, anyway, we're going to leave that there before I get too bogged down with it, and we're going to paint the hair next. Thank you so much to Intergalactic Wag and for following, and also to Michael How Arts for following. I'm sorry I missed that earlier. Okay, so next layer goes underneath the goggles layer. We are going to label it hair for obvious reasons, because hair is what we're about to paint. We are going to use a base colour that we already have present in the beard, just to speed things up a wee bit. And just start whacking down that hair base. Thank you so much, Zenova Nebulax. I said that right. For the follow. Sorry for butchering everyone's usernames. And thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you to It's Bowl as well for following. Goodness, we all came at once, didn't we? Do these little kind of curls of the hair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a more kind of graphic-y, cartoony style at all. I mean, I often wish that I could do that style of art more easily. I get far too bogged down with realism and perfectionism sometimes. What's my opinion on homebrew classes? I mean, depends really. I don't do a whole ton of homebrew. Mostly because my players are happy with the raw stuff, but at the end of the day, if it's what your players want and you find it exciting as a DM, then go for it. Do whatever makes you happy. So many curls. Yeah, it is quite different, very different to get used to when you first start digital art. It takes a lot of time to get used to how the graphics pen works and stuff and how it feels in your hand. Certainly very different from using like a normal pen or pencil. Ooh, Photoshop is super lagging now. That's the other problem you have to get used to. Software bugging up and messing around. Okay. Alright, so that's the hair blocked in. So what we're going to do now is make sure, as always, that's been alpha locked. And then we can pick a darker version of that colour. And just start to bring in some shadows and highlights. So there's some shadows. Now for the light. Okay, so now I'm going to basically create a gradient by adding a Gaussian blur. Gaussian, I don't know, to that whole thing. Selecting the lower, the more dark colors from our gradient, we can then go in with a rendering brush and just start rendering out the hair. Kind of see there's a sort of parting over here, just vaguely. So we can use that as a bit of a baseline for this. And this can take a little while, but you kind of just got to approach it with patience and you'll get some really nice looking hair. Let's go back to my other shading colour. Gosh, I couldn't go into my longest character backstory or I'd be here all afternoon. I have been known to write several thousand words just as a short prep backstory before I even play a character. And then half the time I play like 2 sessions with them and then, that's it. Okay, let's then pick a slightly darker tone for the lower areas, which also need to be shaded. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Alright, so yeah, we're just kind of just gradually building up the shape and the tone by adding in these shadows to the hair, which we're basically done with now. But what this allows us to do is it allows us to see kind of flaws with the skin. So we're going to go back to the skin layer. We're going to equip a eraser tool and basically just start anywhere where we've gone a bit too far over, such as here. You can take that away, same as here. Around the ear I always go over the lines somehow. I don't know how I do it, I just always do. Just to tidy things up, make it look a little bit neater and tidier. This side's not quite so bad, actually. Alright, so with that all tidied up, what we can do now is I'm going to go back to the hair. I'm going to start adding highlights. I'm going to start doing this on the darker parts, just using the lighter parts of the gradient we've already established. And then we can get lighter and add lighter parts to the upper areas. And we have some nice curly blonde hair. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop back to the lines layer, and you can see there. And as I did earlier, we are going to recolor some of the line art around the hair, just so it blends in a little nicer. This way it kind of joins the hair in a nice dark brown. And yeah, we have a nice kind of head of hair going on. So I'm trying to think what I want to do next. I'm looking at the time. I think we've got time to do another bit. So I'm thinking I might actually do the scarf. And I think the scarf's going to be a nice red to start with, and we'll see how we feel about that. So, new layer. Oop, double clicked in the wrong area. We don't need that menu. I'm just going to call it scarf. And I'm going to pick a red that I'm kind of going to derive from up here. It's going to be a much darker, richer red though. Nice kind of burgundy. And then we're just going to add in base for the scarf. It's quite a big scarf. The kind that you can put up over your nose if you're in some kind of car chase. Through a dusty Avernus plain. Just coming down here, just gently basically trying to stay as neatly inside the line art as we can. Just saves us time later on tidying things up, really. Oh, thank you so much, Tartan Griffin. I'm pleased that this can be at least of use somehow. Oop, already going outside the lines a bit then. actually just going to erase a little bit down here. It's a little too close to the edge. There we go. Just tidy that up a bit. How fares my adventures? We are adventuring well, I believe. Sorry, yeah, that's a command I haven't quite programmed in yet, so, but I probably can add that one in. I've been streaming for about an hour and a quarter at this point. Yep, I don't need to program because Stu is the bot here. Okay, that's the base for the scarf popped in. So, I believe it's time to shade the scarf. So, with most clothes, the way I will do shading is I'll create a new layer above, make sure that's set to multiply, and very similar to earlier with the goggles, select my shadow color and just fill in the whole lot when Photoshop gets its act together. And let's save now because I'm worried that it might want to crash. No, I usually start at about 5. It's 10 past 6 right now. Stu's concept of time and space has just been blown. Did you do the thing where you take a nap and you're like, oh, I'll just have like a half an hour nap, and then you wake up in 4 hours just like, what's going on? Alright, so what we can do now is I'm just going to pop into eye drop between these a bit, just so I can create a little bit of kind of soft shadow here and there. And then back to white. No? Okay, fine. Just took a while to catch up with me. Oh, we're talking about Destiny. Yeah, I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 5 on my Titan, I believe. But I haven't really played much today. I might not be able to play any today. Try not to get super into the level race. Alright, nearly there with shading the scarf. It's kind of coming out quite nicely. Okay. Alright, so with the first level of shadow on Scarf, I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to pick a deeper colour. Just work in where the Scarf's going to leave some darker shadows in on itself. And this gives us nice, rich shadows doing it this way. Like so. We can go in with a slightly smaller brush to add them like places like here. Nice. And with that, then we can add highlights to just bring the scarf out a bit. So as before, we're just going to pick a highlight colour, which in this case is going to be slightly more orangey. This might be a bit too far in the direction of orange, but we'll see. We'll add a bit of a sheen to the material. Which reminds me, I've got a new piece I need to upload this afternoon that I haven't shown anyone yet. Oh, I've just realised I've gone drastically overboard here. Let's just turn that right back. Alright, whoops, let's just tidy that up a bit. We have a nice, slightly iridescent red scarf. I think that's time to save again. And next, I think what I'm going to do is the vest that's being worn underneath. That's going to be a very dark brownish colour, so usually I start dark browns with what's actually dark red. I find it looks a bit more realistic that way, and then we'll just see how we feel about it. Slightly smaller brush just so we keep this neat as we're going along. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to avoid going over this pauldron strap. Just makes it easier to paint it in later if we've gone neatly up to the lines. Okay, we're actually nearly there with outlining this. Just following the shape of the kind of the vest. It gets tucked into the belt, so that bit's kind of cut off. Nice, so we're almost complete done actually, because we don't need to worry about going up super carefully to the lines up here, because we've already done it. Oh, thank you so much. Right, okay, making sure that's all filled in nicely. We can now, again, make sure that's locked. Clipping mask. Multiply. Magenta. And then all filled in. And then, as before, we can go in and just erase where we do not need the shadows. I usually start with the big brush and then get neater as I go along. You usually get a natural shadow coming in under the pecs or under the bust if you're painting more femme characters, but in this case just like a slight shadow coming in under where the pecs are. This guy's pretty muscular. Oh, the Drake Ranger sounded really adorable. Alright, so now most of those highlights worked in, we can put back shadows where, for example, the scarf is casting or the strap. Or even the pauldron. And we can also select a darker shadow tone for places where that's going to be thickest. Okay. And then just a little bit of blending here and there. Alright. Nice. So I'm quite happy with how that's coming on. Is there anything else I want to add right now? Maybe a little bit more blend around here. Just to get it nice and smooth. And yeah, that looks fine to me. So the last thing I'm going to work on is this strap for the pauldron. And this is going to be black. So I'm going to start off real dark for this one. Probably get lighter rather than darker. There we go. Just pulling it down towards the bottom right. Alright, Once that's filled in, making once again sure it's locked, and then selecting an even darker colour just to do those extra shadows. Now this also allows us to see where we've gone over a little bit above, so I'm just going to tidy up here and there, like so, a bit down here. Okay. And then back to adding in our shadows. Obviously, like I said, similar with the top, we're going to have an area of, when Photoshop gets its act together, an area of darker paint here, kind of mirroring the contours that the shirt's flying around. And then coming up from here also. But that means then we can add light as well. I'm going to do this on the overlines layer. Going down all the way to a 7. Again, kind of that edge highlighting that I mentioned earlier, similar to Warhammer. And then you can come down to the same on the strap. And then a little bit of side light just coming in over here just to highlight the edge. And then probably the most interesting part, the buckle, which I always enjoy doing. Starting with a nice mid-brown. And then going back up to the shinies layer, everyone's favourite. And I think I'll take that down to a 6 just for now. And then finally taking a nice light colour. This is kind of like a coppery buckle, this one. I might go down to a 4 just for these details. And there is the buckle. So let's save once more. And I think that's probably where I will leave it for this afternoon, because we actually got tons done there, which is great. So let's pop some links in chat, shall we? To start off with, if you would like to see my finished version of this, along with other finished works, updates about when I'm streaming, etc., the best place to follow me is on my Twitter. Again, there'll be all the information regarding streams, and commissions tend to come up on there as well, so worth following if you're interested in commissioning me down the line. Next, Instagram. If you're not a fan of Twitter, I also use Instagram. I don't take kind of work-related messages through Instagram, so if you want to talk to me about commissions and stuff when I open them, Twitter or Patreon is the place to do it. Next up, my ArtStation. If you're purely interested in seeing my portfolio of work, please have a look at my ArtStation. It's where I tend to upload all my best pieces, so it tends to be the best place to go have a look at all the stuff I do. YouTube. I now have a YouTube channel where you can find the VOD for this and all my previous streams. So if you've missed out on the start or you just want to watch some more of my work, then that's the place to go. Okay, so all of the music you've heard in the stream today is by a wonderful artist named Kai Engel. You can find their work on the Free Music Archive as well as Spotify, and it's just really chill, good atmospheric stuff. It's also royalty free, which is great, so perfect for streaming. Lastly, and most certainly not leastly, if you do enjoy my work and you've kind of enjoyed the stream today and you like seeing what I do, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. There are various different tiers. You can get different rewards, such as works in progress, sketches, or exclusive art that only gets uploaded there. So if you are able to throw a bit of support my way, do check that out. It honestly means the world to me. I'm very grateful to everyone on my Patreon. And it also gives you access to a lovely little Discord, along as do Twitch subs, which you can go along to and chat about arts, D&D, games, finding groups, all that kind of stuff you can find on the Discord. So with that, I think we are pretty much done, actually. So thank you all so very much for tuning in today. I will be back on Friday at 5 p.m. GMT, UK time, to possibly work some more on this character, or maybe to work on something completely different. We shall see. But until then, stay warm and stay safe, and you're doing great. And I'll see you very soon. Until then, bye for now.